Good morning, students. We have started discussing about dynamics of rotational motion. Okay. Now, today we will have a comparison of translational motion and rotational motion. Comparison between translational motion, that is analogy between translational and rotational motion. So, we have studied already in the previous topics about the linear motion. Linear motion or translation motion, both are same. So, first we have started with kinematics. So, we have learned displacement. So, first one is displacement. So, we have taken this displacement as S, or you can say X, or delta X, or let us take X as the displacement. Then we have learnt second one, the velocity, linear velocity, that is dx by dt. Then we have learnt acceleration, linear acceleration, a is equal to dv by dt, rate of change of velocity, that is v square x by dt square. Then we have learnt expression for mass. Mass is the measure of inertia, that is mass is also measure of inertia denoted by m. Then we have learned force. So until these four topics, four concepts, displacement, velocity, acceleration, mass, we have learned them as part of kinematics. Then later on we have learned the causes of motion, the description of causes of motion as dynamics. So in dynamics we have learned about force. Force is equal to mass into acceleration, that is v m into dv by dt, or it is also written as dp by dt, rate of change of linear momentum. Then we have learned work done. Work done, W is equal to F into dx, force into displacement. Then we have learnt kinetic energy, work done, and we can say power. P is equal to product of force and velocity. All these things we have learned already. And then finally we can write kinetic energy. Kinetic energy for linear motion, K is equal to half mv square. So these are all the things that we have learned as part of linear motion or translational motion. And one more thing I have learned, that is momentum. You can write here, fourth one, linear momentum, P equal to mv, mass into velocity, right? So they are going to be 9 physical quantities. 4, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. These are the physical quantities. Now, the same way, what we have learned in rotational motion, the linear displacement is replaced by angular displacement. Correspondingly, this becomes angular displacement, denoted by theta. Linear velocity is replaced by angular velocity. Angular velocity omega equal to rate of change of angular displacement. Easy to compare. Then acceleration. Acceleration is replaced by angular acceleration. Angular acceleration. angular acceleration is denoted by alpha. Alpha is equal to rate of change of angular velocity. Rate of change of angular velocity gives us alpha. That is also written as d square theta by dt. dt square. d square theta by dt square. Second order differentiation of angular displacement with respect to time gives us angular acceleration alpha. Similarly, fourth one, linear momentum. Linear momentum becomes angular momentum. Angular momentum. Here, angular momentum is denoted by L. L is equal to I omega, where I is moment of inertia. That's what I am going to write here. Fifth one, mass is the measure of inertia in case of linear motion, and moment of inertia is rotational inertia. Inertia of the rotating body is measured as moment of inertia denoted by I. Right? So I into omega, look at this. mv gives us linear momentum, I omega gives us angular momentum. That's all. Now next one is force. Force is the one which causes acceleration in case of translation motion. Here it is replaced by torque. Torque 2. Torque 2 is given by, in the same line I can write torque 2 is equal to I alpha, because mass is replaced by moment of inertia. A is replaced by alpha, angular acceleration. Torque is equal to I alpha. Seventh one, work done. Here it is work done for linear motion. Here it is work done for rotational motion. Work done in rotational motion is given by W is equal to tau d theta. Tau d theta. F is replaced by torque 2. Dx is replaced by small angular displacement d theta. Then power, on the same line I can write power P is equal to Fv. Force is replaced by torque, and velocity is replaced by omega, angular velocity. This is what we have derived as per. Next one is kinetic energy. Rotational kinetic energy. Rotational kinetic energy. Kinetic energy of a rotating body is K equal to half mv square in case of linear motion. Half m is to be replaced by moment of inertia, and v square is to be replaced by omega square. So if you remember this, if you remember these equations, very easily you can write the equations for rotational motion about a fixed axis. So until 1, 2, 3, you are learning all these concepts in the kinematics, part of kinematics. Fourth onwards, moment of inertia, angular momentum, torque, work, rotational kinetic energy, power, these are parts of dynamics. So in the case of translation motion, these are the part of fourth onwards, these are the part of dynamics. This is the part of rotational dynamics. Okay. So with this analogy, it's easy to remember, and whenever you get any numerical problem, you will be able to switch over from a translation motion to rotation motion very easily, and you will be able to apply the equation, required equation, and able to solve the problem very easily. Now let us solve one problem. Okay, let us solve a problem. A cord of negligible mass is wound around the rim of a flywheel. Wound around the rim of a flywheel of mass 20 kg. This is a flywheel. Flywheel means It's a large disk with a high amount of moment of inertia. A disk with a large moment of inertia or a wheel with a large moment of inertia is called as flywheel. It's of mass 20 kg and it's of radius 20 centimeter. Mass of this flywheel is 20 kg and its radius is 20 centimeter or 0.2 meter. A cord of negligible mass is wound around this. You must have seen extension cord. Cord is the one which is we call it as a cable or wire, right? It is wound around this. Then a steady pull of 25 Newton is applied on the cord. A steady pull of 25 Newton is applied on the cord, means cable, cord. The flywheel is mounted on a horizontal axle with frictionless bearings. So it is fixed here on the horizontal axle. It is fixed here on the horizontal axle with frictionless bearings. Okay. Then you are asked to compute the angular acceleration of the wheel. What is the angular acceleration of the wheel? First question. Find the work done by the pull when 2 meter of the cord is unwound. If 2 meter of the cable or 2 meter of the cord is unwound, what is the work done? Next, find the kinetic energy of the wheel. Kinetic energy of the wheel. The moment you pull this cord, the wheel is set into rotational motion. What is the kinetic energy of the wheel at this point when the 2 meter of the cord is unwound? Assume that the wheel starts from rest. Assume that the flywheel starts from rest. Next, compare the answers to parts B and C. Compare the answers of B and C. Okay. These are the questions. Let us first compute the angular acceleration of the wheel. We know angular acceleration. Angular acceleration. To calculate angular acceleration, we use equation for torque. Torque tau is equal to I alpha, where alpha is the angular acceleration, I is the moment of inertia of flywheel, and tau is the torque. Now, torque can be calculated with the help of force and the perpendicular distance. Here, torque tau is equal to R into F, the perpendicular distance of the force from the center, from the axis of rotation. Here is the axis of rotation, horizontal axis of rotation. So the perpendicular distance becomes the radius. The radius into the force. The force is tangential. So the angle between them is 90 degrees. Therefore it becomes RF. So torque can be calculated. Torque can be calculated as 0.2 meter. Radius is 0.2 meter, and the force is 25 Newton. So it becomes 0.5 Newton meter or 0.5 joule. Now moment of inertia of the wheel. Moment of inertia of wheel. Wheel is considered to be a circular disc about an axis passing through its center. We know this from the standard equation. I is equal to mr square by 2. So we can calculate what is moment of inertia. So mass is there, radius is given, we can directly calculate the moment of inertia. So mass is 20 kg, radius is 0.2 square, we can write as 0.2 into 0.2 divided by 2. So 2 ones are 2 tens are, so it becomes 10 into 2 becomes 2, 2 into 0.2 becomes 0.4. So I becomes equal to 0.4 kg meter square. So we got I and we got torque. One can very easily calculate angular acceleration. Therefore, angular acceleration. Therefore, angular acceleration alpha pull. So using this equation, alpha is equal to tau by I. Tau by I. Tau is 0.5 meter divided by moment of inertia 0.4. Alpha is equal to tau by I 0.4. So if you calculate this, I think it is 5. It is not 0.5. It is 5. 25 into 0.2 becomes 5 meter. So thus it becomes 5 by 0.4. 5 by 0.4. So if you calculate this, it becomes 50 by 4. That is 25 by 2. 25 by 2 implies 12.5 radian per second square. Radian per second square. So you have to mention the SI unit. The moment you calculate any physical quantity like angular acceleration, moment of inertia, torque, you are supposed to write the SI unit immediately. Newton meter for alpha, Newton meter for torque, moment of inertia, kg meter square, and alpha radian per second square, 12.5 radian per second square. Now let us calculate B, work done by the pull. Part B. Work done by the pull. W is equal to force into displacement. Force into displacement. You see, the force applied here is 25 Newton. And this force is applied for steadily to pull. A force steady pull of 25 Newton is applied when the 2 meter cord is unwound. Means the displacement of the cord is 2 meter. Displacement of the cord is 2 meter. Therefore, it becomes 25 into 2, 50 Newton meter or 50 joule. So this becomes the work done by the pull of force. Work done by the pull of the force. Now find the kinetic energy of the field at this point. So we need to calculate kinetic energy. How do you calculate kinetic energy? That is third part. Kinetic energy of the wheel. So we call it as rotational kinetic energy. Rotational kinetic energy of the wheel is given by K is equal to half I omega square. So we will substitute the value of I and omega. We need to calculate what is omega. That is, when it is pulled with 2 meter of displacement, the wheel rotates. So it is given in the problem. Assume that the wheel starts from rest. Means initial angular velocity of the wheel is 0. Initially the wheel is at rest, so its angular velocity omega naught is 0. So by the pull of 25 Newton, when 2 meter cord is displaced, what is the angular velocity? We need to calculate omega, angular velocity omega. From omega naught to omega, it has gained the angular velocity. So there is a gain in kinetic energy. So we have to calculate that kinetic energy, final kinetic energy, which can be calculated as half I omega square, where omega square is the final final angular velocity. So we need to calculate final angular velocity. We know angular acceleration, right? So we need to calculate final angular velocity. It starts from rest. Omega naught is equal to 0 because initially the wheel is at rest. Then we know alpha. Alpha we have calculated. That is alpha is equal to 12.5. radian per second square. Then theta, before we go for calculating omega naught square, we should know what is the angular displacement theta. Theta is equal to how much? So we are using the equation, third equation of rotational motion. Omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha theta. On the same line which we have used for translation motion. In translation motion we have used v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Here omega is the final angular velocity, v is the final linear velocity. Omega naught is the initial angular velocity, u is the initial angular velocity. Alpha is the angular acceleration, a is the linear acceleration. Theta is the angular displacement and s is the linear displacement. So we can write directly the third equation of rotational motion when it is undergoing uniform angular acceleration, right? Now how to calculate theta? We know omega naught is 0, we can substitute. Alpha we know, theta we do not know. So we have to calculate theta. So theta can be calculated using how much it has undergone the arc. So we know by angle subtended by an arc, angle subtended by an arc is given by the length of the arc divided by radius. Length of the arc, divided by radius. Here the length of the arc is 2 meter chord. 2 meter chord. Just imagine that. Although the chord is pulled down like this by 2 meter, if you imagine that 2 meter arc is made as the 2 meter chord is made as an arc of radius r of 20 centimeter, then length of the arc is 2 meter and radius of the arc is 20 centimeter. 20 centimeter means 0.2 meter. So if you calculate this, it comes out to be 10 radians. So 10 radians. 10 radians. Angle subtended by arc is calculated as length of the arc. Arc length is 2 meter and radius of the arc is nothing but radius of the wheel itself. So that is 0.2. So we get 10 radians. Now substitute these values in above equation. So we get omega square minus omega naught is 0 is equal to 2 into alpha 12.5 into angular displacement theta is 10 radians. So if you calculate this comes out to be 250. 125 into 2 becomes 250. Omega square becomes 250 radian square per second square, right? Anyhow, we want to calculate rotational kinetic energy. You need not go for calculating omega. So directly substitute omega square here. If you substitute, then rotational kinetic energy, that is the kinetic energy gained by the flywheel, is equal to half I omega square. Just substitute half into I. I is moment of inertia, which we have already calculated, 0.4. Moment of inertia of the flywheel, 0.4 into omega square is 250. So just cancel now. So 2 ones are 2.2s are, so it becomes 0.2 into 250. So decimal cancels, so you are left with 50 joules. 50 joules. Therefore, gain in kinetic energy. This is a gain because initially the wheel was at rest. Before pulling the cord, the flywheel, the ring was at rest. Therefore, the gain in kinetic energy is given by 50 joules. Now the last question is compare the parts of B and C. That is question number D. This is part of C. Now question number D. When you compare B and C, both the answers are same. B is work done by the pull, that is 50 joule. Gain in kinetic energy is 50 joule. Therefore, we write work done on the cord by the pull. Work done by the force of pull is equal to gaining kinetic energy. Gaining kinetic energy. This is what we realize, that is from these results. It means since it is a frictionless, the bearings of the axle are not having any friction, so the rotational motion of the flywheel is frictionless. Therefore, there is no loss of energy in the form of friction. Therefore, work done on the cord by the force is equal to gain in kinetic energy, which is the realization of work energy theorem. Work energy when there is no friction. Okay. So this is how we can make any problem simple with the knowledge of rotational dynamics. Now we are going to discuss about the angular momentum in case of rotational motion about a fixed axis. So we have learned already about the angular momentum and the relation between angular momentum and the torque. The time rate of change of angular momentum is equal to the external torque about that point, about a fixed axis, about a fixed axis. This is what we have already learned. This is accordingly you can write torque 2 is equal to dl by dt. So if external torque is 0, this is what we are considering a body undergoing pure rotational motion. If external torque tau is 0, then dl by dt is equal to 0. This implies L is equal to L is the angular momentum. The angular momentum is conserved or constant, or you can say angular momentum is conserved. This is what we are learning. Now, before we go into the details of this, we have learned the angular momentum of a single particle. See, this is a rigid body. Already we have drawn earlier. Also, this is a rigid body having an axis of rotation, fixed axis of rotation undergoing pure rotational motion, out of which I am considering one typical particle, say of mass m. This is a typical particle of mass m and having a circular motion. When the body undergoes rotational motion, this typical particle undergoes circular motion about this fixed axis with c as the constant and r perpendicular as the radius. Okay, we have considered earlier also. So we have calculated angular momentum of a single particle. We have calculated as small l is equal to r cross p. So where p is linear momentum given by mv, right? So this is for a single particle. So if you consider for all the particles, then we need to add all those angular momentum. So total angular momentum of the rigid body, total angular momentum of the rigid body now becomes vector sum of all these rigid bodies, vector sum of all these particles. Consider that this rigid body is having n number of particles, so that I can write angular momentum of all the n particles. So some vector sum of all these gives us this one. So this can be written as summation of Li's, where I extends from 1 to n, considering that this rigid body is having n number of particles. So this can be further written as, therefore, vector L is equal to summation I equal to 1 up to n. Using this, I can write Ri cross Pi. So we are going to analyze this equation later and find the relation between the angular momentum and angular velocity, which is very important, that we will do in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.